everyone and welcome back to Retro Friday. Now I apologise in advance guys, but I have a really sore throat, so I'm going to try my best. I've taken so many throat tablets, I think it's just coming upon me, but it is really sore to speak. Anyhow, moving on. So thanks very much for coming back. Everybody has been loving this series that I started a while back called Retro Friday, and it's not exactly me coming on and giving, you know, a professional review or anything like that. Not that any of my reviews are ever professional, but it's more just a really, you know, chill, laid back, little chat convo about a movie that I choose from, you know, like a retro old movie that I really love, basically. Now last week, for anybody of you that missed it, I did the movie Alien. So if you haven't seen that, I will link that in my video description. Now, for tonight, as you can tell from the title, I thought it would be a good decision because so many of you loved Alien. Retro Friday last Friday, I have picked Aliens. And wow, what a fantastic sci-fi movie this was. I know so many of you will agree. Of course, I love sci-fi, love Star Wars, love all that. Now, I do have my notes with me here, guys, just so I don't sort of, you know, go off on one like I normally do and forget what I was saying. This movie was out in 1986 and it was directed by the very talented, fantastic James Cameron, who of course did Avatar, Alita Battle Angel. Now I actually have both of these on DVD. I love Avatar. Now I know each to their own, Avatar isn't for everybody, but it's definitely one of my favourite movies. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I love this cover. I just love the Blu-ray covers more than normal DVD covers. I don't know, I'm weird. But I also have Alita Battle Angel. Now I actually bought this for my boyfriend because like we both love Alita. We're both huge fans. But he absolutely is obsessed. And I bought this as a surprise for him. But of course, you know, it's for the both of us because, you know, we're both live in the same house and we both watched it. We have watched it since I've bought it and we're going to probably watch it again before Christmas as well. And it has like, you know, the Blu-ray and the 4K and everything in it. Both brilliant movies. Of course, James Cameron's fantastic. I mean, you know, look at Titanic. What a brilliant historical film. And I will be doing something to do with the Titanic because I do live in Ireland in my Series 2 of Ireland locations. So keep an eye out for that. But moving on from that, we're here to talk about Aliens. So here we go. As much as I love Alien, which I spoke on last week, if I had to pick what one I prefer, either Alien or Aliens, it's this movie. I just think it's just overall, I mean, they are both absolutely phenomenal sci-fi movies, don't get me wrong, but I just find this one more enjoyable and there's just so much more going on. And of course, Aliens is a continuation on from Alien, and you know, you have Ripley, you know, played by the amazing Sigourney Weaver. And, you know, she wakes up from her cryo sleep after 57 years, you know, long time. And she's trying to convince everybody about the xenomorph. And, you know, no one's listening, of course. And it just reminds me of, because I love Terminator, I'm sure a lot of you do as well. And it just kind of reminds me of, you know, the whole sort of, you know, Sarah Connor, you know, poor Sarah Connor, you know, when she's in the sanitarium trying to, you know, like say, like, look, I'm being serious, you know. In Terminator Salvation, and it really puts me in mind of that. And what was really cool is I actually have a video that I'll bring up now. It's not great quality because I think they had to sort of like mask it because of you know, obviously copyrights on YouTube, but there's a little hint, like a really lovely subtle shot that was put in there, and I think it's really smartly put in. And maybe I'm a weirdo, but this might not be how everybody else sees it, but I think this is why it was put in there, or it could have been James Cameron's choice to have put it in there. You know, at the beginning where the little girl and the little boy's father, and then there's the face hugger on his face, and then straight after that shot, the next scene or shot or whatever you call it, is of Ripley. And Sigourney Weaver is smoking, but the way she's holding her cigarette, it's like the way her hand is going down. It almost looks like that her hand's kind of like that way, so it's like kind of incorporated to look like face hugger. Does that make sense? That's how I see it anyway. I didn't notice it like straight away, but over the years as I've watched it, I remember there was just one night I was sitting And I said to my boyfriend about it, and I was like, oh my God. And then we both were sort of talking about it and noticing it and said, oh my God. And then we rewinded it. I thought, it might just be us though, like it might not be, it might not actually be that way. But anyway, I would have to ask James Cameron about that one, but there you go. That's just me being a bit of a weirdo maybe. I'm paying too much attention. But I love the fact that her cat and everything's in this one again too. I love cats. I would love a cat, but you know what? My dog would be so jealous if I had a cat. And I can't remember exactly what it was she said, but I've seen the movie many times, of course, but she was talking to Brooke, and you know, she's sort of like agreeing that she'll go with him and everything, and she says she agrees basically, and then she looks over and she says, you know, I knew you little, you know, I don't want to like say the word, but you know, I'll use a different word, you little poo head, instead of SHIT head, you're staying right here, or something along them lines. I think it's really cool. And a character that I really love in this film, actually, you can let me know what you think, is Bishop, you know, who of course plays an android in this movie. And I really love that whole story between Bishop and Ripley. I think that was really smartly and cleverly done, because what they done was Ripley was, you know, saying to Bishop, you know, towards the beginning of the movie, you know, you'll stay away from me. She's like, I didn't know there was going to be an android in this ship, because, you know, like, look at the first one, look at her experience in Alien, and she just wasn't having any of it, and she's just like really bluntly saying to him, I don't know word for word, guys, but she's like, you know, you just stay the heck away from me, or whatever, you know, stay clear, basically, don't want you anywhere near me. And what's really interesting about that, and I love about that sort of like story of how that went, is Bishop was actually the one to actually save Ripley and the little girl Rebecca, who's of course the lead character in this. And what's really interesting, actually, in case anybody is interested to know, because when I take interest in things, especially sci-fi in general and movies and things like that, I do like to read up research and, you know, sort of like learn new things about it and learn more about characters and things like that as well. But the actress who played the little girl Rebecca in this movie, she, you know, the little boy that's at the beginning of the movie, well, in real life, they're actually real brother and sisters. And I really think that's cool, because if you can imagine, guys, you know, like say they're having a little, you know, tit for tat or something, or a little squabble, can you imagine in that house it would have been, oh well, you know what, I played Rebecca, and not only did I play Rebecca, I was in the whole movie, and you were only in the beginning of the movie, you know, just to remember that, brother, just to remember that. You know, can you just imagine, guys? Just gonna let me know. I'm sure at some point that conversation was brought up, but I'm just joking around, guys, but anyways, being silly. What I really love about this movie now, I did speak on, you know, the feeling of isolation within Alien and Retro Friday last week when I was speaking about that, because it did have a brilliant feeling of isolation, and it was so closely, it was so up close and personal. And I think that's what really, really made it so, you know, dark, like a dark tone to the movie, and really made you feel, you know, like that feeling of isolation in space. And with this one, it was more open in comparison to Alien. You know, if you look at it that way, if you look at Alien, look at Aliens, it's much more open, but yet at the same time, they still captured and they still grasped perfectly that feeling. I anyway, myself, and I'm sure many of you as well, I still felt the sense of isolation within the whole movie, and they still kept to that dark tone. And, you know, again, you know, like sci-fi movies, you know, they didn't have, you know, a ton of stars and a ton of stuff going on in space. It was literally just darkness, and that's what made, like I said in the first video, my throat's getting worse, guys, I'm so sorry, might have to take a drink of water soon, but anyways, that's nothing to do with this video. But basically, you know, that's where they went right with the first one, and I'm glad that they made the decision to keep it within that, you know, sort of dark tone, you know, feeling of isolation, and stuck with it basically, you know, and, you know, massive props for that. Sorry guys, I'm just gonna take a quick drink. But yeah, I mean, And in this movie, what is so class, and I honestly thought that the word class wasn't even used in like America and things like that. I honestly didn't know. Sorry, guys. Because one of my subscribers said that to me one day and they were like, Julie, we know what class means. I'm so silly, I'm so stupid. But anyhow, the xenomorph is just so freaking well class in this movie. You know the scene, or the xenomorph is just like sort of oh God, how would I explain this, guys? I'm really bad with wording. Sort of all curled up, you know, sort of sideways, I suppose, and then, you know, sort of comes out of himself. And that scene, oh my good days, that scene is utter classic. What a shot, what a moment. This is one of those moments in a movie and you go, wow, that is absolutely fantastic. And it still gives me shivers. Especially the part where you can see the metal teeth and everything. That part always makes me shiver. And what's brilliant about this movie is, and another moment I want to actually talk about, first of all, is, you know the scene with Ripley, with the facehugger crawling along the floor. Oh my good goodness. What I love about this movie, now I'm not James Cameron. I haven't had a telephone conversation, you know, with the dude. So I don't know if this is how James Cameron sort of was envisioning it. But I wonder, I honestly believe that the way he envisioned when he was capturing this movie was, I want the viewers to imagine, oh my goodness, what would they feel if, what would you or I think if we were watching the movie and we were in that situation? Like even a person imagining, you know, a big massive spider crawling along the floor. You go, oh my goodness, look at that big spider crawling along the floor. And I think the way he captured the movie was so smartly done. It really was. Because it seemed, although to me, at least this is how I see it anyway, guys, is that he sort of makes you sort of think and feel, you know, what would that be like? You know, being Ripley and seeing that. And I think that's what it makes a great movie. And what also makes this such a great movie is that no matter how many times you see Alien and Aliens, you always say to yourself, oh my gosh, what would I do in that situation? And to think, you know, year after year when I watch these movies, I watch them every year around this time of year. You know, before the first week of October, I would always watch these movies every year. You sort of say to yourself, wow, this is freaking me out just the same, and it's still having the same impact. And it's very hard, it really is, I believe, you know, hats off, because it is very hard to be able to get that with a movie. It really, really is. And I think today, you know, people struggle with that. You know, there's certain movies now that I would watch and I do enjoy them, but you don't get that same, you know, impact. You don't get that same sort of like feeling of fear in you. But with this movie, I do, year after year, I'm still going, like, you know, you get the shivers in the back of your head and your hair and everything. That's just me. And talking of, you know, great captured shots, my all-time favourite part of this movie, and please do let me know, guys, what is your favourite moment in this movie? And if you don't have one, pick 2, pick 3, but I'd be really happy to hear what your favourite moment is. I'm very interested in that. But my favourite moment, guys, is little Rebecca in the water, and she's got her little doll and she's sort of comforting herself with her doll. And that little girl was such a fantastic actress, may I add. She really did play the part fantastically, so hats off to her. And of course, you know, she's just absolutely terrified. She's frightened. I mean, oh my gosh, who would not be? I was frightened watching, for crying out loud. And then the next thing, the xenomorph just comes above the water, and you know what? It's how it was shot, guys. It was just so perfectly done, perfectly timed, and again, in darkness, and you know, no crazy massive, you know, music scores, you know, drowning it out. Just slowly coming up in a really dark setting, just slowly coming up behind her, and she just looks around. At that part, I just love how it was shot, love how it was captured. Again, no matter how many times you watch it, phenomenal. Has the same effect. Does that make sense? You know, you don't go, oh, well, I seen that part last year, I'm not going to be as excited when that comes up. I'm still going, oh my, you know. It's amazing. Now, the music score I want to talk about, because here's the thing. With movies nowadays, they always, you know, mainly try and pick, now not always, some movies pick songs and they pick it well and they pick it, you know, very well for the tone of the movie. But some movies nowadays what they do is they go, oh, what's popular? Okay, we'll stick an Ariana Grande song or a Lady Gaga song in there, but that doesn't age well. Do you know, like in 30 years time, you know, people will be saying, you know, asking their phone, who you know, who's Ariana Grande, you know. So to me, that's not important who's popular. To me, what's important is what goes with the tone of the movie. And with this movie, they understood when to use music and not to use music. So for example, for me, I actually write songs, I sing songs, I play the guitar. I might actually start doing some singing on my channel. I'm not sure when, guys, because I don't want to cluster my channel, but I might actually do like Christmas songs and things like that, and Christmassy songs for Christmas. You can let me know what you think about that. I'm not promising anything, but I'm just saying. I know a lot about music. I know a lot about musical theory, music composition, and you know, I really do have a love for music and respect for music. It's really a huge part of my life, and I appreciate when movies know that you need to also have silence. You know, it's good to have music, but have silence as well, because you can't just be throwing music all over a movie, because it can really take away from it. You know, for example, the scene with the Queen, and how can I not talk about the Queen? Oh my goodness, so many people's favourite in the whole entire movie. Absolutely fantastic, freaky, scary, creepy. Scares the heck out of me still to this day. You know, the epic scene, and I never use the word epic unless something is actually epic, so I'll use it here. I don't use it lightly and I don't use it a lot, but this scene's epic. With Ripley, Rebecca, and the Queen. And it's just one of them moments, wrong place, wrong time, you walk the wrong way, Ripley love, and he walks in, all the eggs and everything are sitting, and the Queen's there, and it's like, oh my, but it's silent. They use a lot of silence, so they knew that we already had enough impact and we already have enough fear factor, like, oh my good days, turn around slowly and walk away. You know, one of them moments, and you're just going, oh, that she is not getting a good time here, not again. So, you know what I mean? So that's what I want to say. You know, the music was beautiful, or, well, I suppose beautiful in the sense that it was fantastic, but the music was fantastic and it suited it, and it was fantastically composed music. There's no two ways about it. And they knew that the music wasn't needed for that scene, basically, and they used it when it was needed. And, you know, whatever they did use was effective because it was just the right amount. And of course, you know, at the end, again, you know, it reminded me of you know, poor Sarah Connor, you know, trying to get away and everything. And, you know, with these two characters, you know, they're two fantastically strong female characters, you know, it's hard to get again in today's age. But, you know, Ripley and Sarah Connor are just like, oh my goodness, please just leave those two girls alone. Like, they've had enough, you know. They've had enough suffering, leave them alone. And you're just sort of like, always saying that, you know, when you're watching it on the TV. And of course, you know, obviously, James Cameron worked on this, so, you know, it makes sense that, you know, there's, you know, it reminds me in that way. And they're two fantastic female characters. And here is the thing, you know. Even with Alita Battle Angel, which James Cameron done, she never once in that movie, Alita Battle Angel, it's a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend it, and especially if you like sci-fi as well. She never once, you know, like, tried to make it like, oh, look at me, I'm a hero. I need to try and explain to you, to the audience, that I'm a hero. She never done that. And that's what's the same with here, with Ripley in this movie and an alien, but also with Sarah Connor and Alita Battle Angel. You know, three fantastic movies, and, you know, not forced. You know, the focus on the character development and throughout the movie, the focus on the story, and everything else just kind of falls together. Do you know what I mean? Whereas movies nowadays, it's kind of like, I'm going to use CGI because I kind of made like a crappy story and like the writing's kind of crappy, so I'm just going to throw a ton of CGI and I'm going to splash it around like Mickey Mouse around a paintbrush, like Disney's doing with live actions. Do you know what I mean? That's just my opinion. Just this movie from start to finish is just fantastic. And here's something I really love and respect about this movie, is it just ended, right? It just ended, because there is quite a lot of horror movies where at the end, you know, before the end titles go up, or whatever you want to call it, the end parts, the end you know, whoever was in the movie and the names of blah, blah, blah. And, you know, you'll see something coming up at the end, like, dun, 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 and you'll just see something at the end, like a few seconds of something. But to me, this movie didn't do that. You don't get that. It's just, it ends. That's good to me. I don't know about anybody else, but that I like that. Music to my ears, right? And, you know, it's an all-round good movie. Fantastic. And it never ages to me. I still love watching this movie. I still enjoy watching this movie. And, you know, it has such a fantastic ending. You know, there's nothing worse than having a brilliant movie and then it kind of falls apart at the end. But this didn't. And it has such a sweet ending. You know, you even had Rebecca calling Ripley Mummy or something. It was either Mum or Mummy. But it's so sweet at the end. When I always, like, even still, when she says it to Ripley, I feel almost, I don't cry, but you know the way you feel like, oh, isn't that lovely? But yeah, I still feel like that whenever I watch it. You know, there's almost a tear in your eye, but you don't actually cry, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, Sigourney Weaver really is a fantastic character. She really, really was a strong female character. There's no two ways about it, and I'll keep, you know, sorry if I keep repeating myself. But you know what? Any companies, movie companies out there are doing movies and they're kind of feeling, homework for them would be the best thing would be to watch the like of Alien, watch Aliens, you know, Terminator, you know, Lord of the Rings, fantastic films where you concentrate on a good story and writing first and foremost, then you build your characters fantastically. And you know what? Trust me, everything else will fall into place. I mean, I know, you know, what do you call it? I don't study film. I don't do any of that. But all I can say is, as someone who appreciates movies and enjoys movies and enjoys a film, is what I would say is this would be a brilliant homework thing for them because, you know, this is how you do it. And I mean, let's face it, why is it still so popular today? Why are people still fans of it? Why do so many say, like myself, like I've said today for Retro Friday, that it doesn't age? It's because they've done it right. You know, maybe have a look at it and take a leaf out of their book. I'm not saying copy them, but I'm saying, oh, here's where I may be going right. Here's where I may be going wrong. My opinion, guys. Let me know what you prefer. Do you prefer Alien? Do you prefer Aliens? Or do you like them both just the same? And I'm sorry guys, but I am going to go because I'm really, really, really needing like tea and hot honey or something. It's only coming on me as of like this morning or this afternoon, and it is so sore to talk, guys. But thanks so much for coming and watching. I massively appreciate it, and I have been really looking forward to this, and I'm so happy that you are all loving it so much because, you know, obviously if you didn't really like Retro Fridays, then I might not have kept doing them. But I will keep doing this as long as you are all really enjoying them, which you are. So, wow, thank you very much for all the kind words of support and for everything. And until my next video, guys, don't forget that the Force will be with you always, and you are all awesome. Bye, guys.